Before I actually get into today's real topic, I want to know if you guys have experienced major, extreme, severe changes in your time, in your life. Basically, when you were a kid, have you looked about the same the entire time? Or have you been someone who has undergone dramatic changes? Weight fluctuations is an example of something that's going to make you look radically different. Facial hair, hair length or hairstyle, hair color, anything like that. I just had a conversation with a friend that started yesterday, but it's continued through today. And basically, we were talking about this person and how they're expecting a kid. And I was asking him if he was prepared to see what 50% of him is going to yield, and then 50% of his wife, what it's going to yield. And he was like, 50% of me is going to be scary no matter what, but to have it diluted with 50% of someone else is still a good thing. And then I said, well, what's crazy with me is that I felt when I was younger, I looked more like my mom during my elementary school days and possibly middle school days. But as soon as I was born and during my high school days, that's when I started seeing my morphing into my dad. And to this day, I can definitely say that I look more like my dad. But most people who see me, if they've ever seen me with mom, they see my resemblance to mom. But when I look for my resemblance with mom, I actually have to try kind of hard to do that because she has thin eyebrows. I don't. My teeth are the exact same shape as my father's. They are even thinning in the same areas and they have the same discoloration. My nose certainly comes from my father's side. I want to say I have my grandmother's nose. My ears, I want to say, are my dad's ears. My eyes are definitely more my dad's eyes because my mom has more round shaped eyes and mine are a little bit like almondy shaped. But sometimes if I'm very, very, very relaxed, my eyes can look a little wider. When they get wider like that, if I smile with my wide eyes, that's when I can see my mom's face a little bit more. But my default is, especially since I wear glasses, I have a tendency of squinting a little bit unnaturally. I just see my dad more. And my lips, I have no idea where they come from in my family. I have asked my mom, and she said she doesn't immediately know or see where they come from because they're definitely not my dad's. They're definitely not hers, but she believes that they might be some aunt we had or something. So it's possibly from her maternal side. It's one of those things that I personally do not really see how I resemble my mom very much. But when I think of my dad, I'm like, I can point out to all of the traits I got. Now, when it comes to my arms, I can tell you that this definitely comes from my grandma. I have seen pictures of my grandma as she is cooking, and the exact thinness and the skinny hands and even that weird line that forms right there. Mom has it, I have it, grandma has it. I know exactly where it came from. I find it crazy that genetics are such a wild card. Another thing I can tell you is I discovered I even have the same head shape as my dad when I made a video some years ago and I happened to turn around and my hair was tied. I'm like, from the back of my head, I look just like my dad, too. Something that has helped me at keeping myself recognizable, I think it's that I just so happen to not change much. You guys know me, I have been looking pretty much the same ever since I got started here. And prior to starting here, that had been my style. I found my style, which is I don't have one. That's what I was just telling my friend before I started making my video. That I'm like, I found that my style is no style, and I just rolled with it. And I'm perfectly happy no matter what anybody says. And a lot of people have tried to change me over the years. Mom used to be like that, but from mom's side, I can't really blame her because I know that she's trying to teach me feminine etiquette and things in efforts to give me an edge on some things, I guess. But because I never saw the point and I wasn't convinced and I thought it was dumb and I hated how much it consumed time and how impractical it was, that say on a rainy day you're gonna dole me up, but what I want to do is be playing around in the mud and stuff like that. Why would you do that to me? I love animals. I'm not going to deprive myself of interacting with them just because I'm wearing some kind of dress or something crazy. I just hated how constrictive it was to be doled up as a girl. And then I told myself that when I grow up, no matter what, nothing is going to get in my way. And it hasn't. I pulled up my images and I looked pretty much the same. The only thing that changed is back then my vision was good enough to where I could sort of get by without glasses as long as I wasn't reading the board or something. My eyebrows, I was accidentally making them too thin. And I absolutely hate thin eyebrows. But honestly, I think it was part of me trying something that I saw on somebody else. And I thought, man, that was stupid. Because if I have thick brows, what I have to do is trim along their natural arches and angles and direction as opposed to trying to reshape it all together. What ended up happening is, especially since I have that scar going on, I would lose sight of my brow shape as I moved from one brow to another. So this one was looking more curved, whereas this one had the angle that I like, the pronounced angle. What I was trying to do is keep my pronounced angle, but I was trying to make it thinner as opposed to keeping my thickness and just those little weird looking stray hairs, just trimming those, and then that's ultimately what would make my features, I believe, stand out better. And it also helped that I was wearing glasses and I finally found the frame that I could feel happy with. It was the plastic ones that I used to wear all those years ago, but now looking back at those, I'm like, those glasses were still not it for me. When I found these, I thought to myself, okay, I really like square shaped glasses that are just bigger. And I remember one of you clowns in the comments told me a long time ago that I should get big glasses that are thick framed or something. I happened to choose these when I was at the doctor's office. And I wasn't even sure about them, but once I actually got them, I thought to myself, oh my God, this was a terrible mistake. But then I actually grew into them. I liked how they started to look as I was getting used to them. And then eventually I remembered that person who left that comment, and I thought, I had no idea that this person was kind of seeing my future. They were kind of laying out my future, that I would just so happen to favor this frame, pick them, wear them, and that it would work out for me. That's why all these years I have tried to keep them. If something happens to these, I'm gonna cry. And I know that they're gonna break at some point because I can feel them loosening. If you were to examine my IDs from those days and my ID from 10 years ago, you will see that I have not changed. And that's what my friend was just saying. He was like, I really wish that I wouldn't have changed, because this person, he's had weight fluctuations, facial hair differences. He has undoubtedly experienced the biggest change in the past year because he has lost over 50 pounds. And you can see it too. So yeah, it's one of those things that I'm curious about with you guys, because there's some people in my life who I've met who have shown me pictures of themselves and their change has been dramatic. My dad has pretty much looked the same, except that he would shave his facial hair here and there because I guess it was just part of the dress code that he had at the time. But mom, she has had all kinds of fluctuations. It's crazy because you can recognize her, but unless you know her well, I think the average person wouldn't immediately recognize her. I will forever be grateful that I did not inherit her thin eyebrows or lack of eyebrows, because that would not go with my face at all. So if there's something good I got from my dad, it has to be my eyebrows. It's just a shame that this bullshit happened, but I've never even felt compelled to do something to it. Just to leave it as it is. And what's funny is if you guys are watching Marvel's Agatha's show, that one boy, he has the exact same scar that I have. It's funny. I said, he stole my due. I have to see if that actor in real life has that. I don't think so. I think that was for the effect of the show. There you guys have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Let me know if you are a major fluctuator or if you have remained pretty consistent. I have known people who are like about to be 60 years old currently, and they still look about the same. I saw younger pictures of them, and I'm like, I could recognize what you look like from this photo 20 years ago. And I saw pictures of them as teenagers, and they have pretty much maintained themselves. I want to say, in my personal opinion, what changes a person most drastically is weight gain. I think weight gain literally distorts what you look like. It may even deform you, if you ask me. And I think that because I have never really ballooned up to an excess of, say, I'm carrying with me over 20 pounds, what I'm supposed to be, I think that's what's let me get by without looking dramatically different. But I think weight and the extreme changes to your hair is what might make you look different or age you in some cases. My hair, I've never had it shorter than maybe about this long since I guess since I was a child, growing my hair out. But it's again one of those things that I figured that long hair is what goes better with me, and I just roll with it. And I may have a season every like 7 or 8 years when I may chop most of it off and regrow it or something. But as of lately, I don't have any plans to trim my hair, at least not in the next couple of months. And I'm overdue to trim my dead ends. I have to trim about maybe this much now, but I don't want to do that. I'm lazy, and I'm definitely not going to pay someone to do it. I don't want someone else putting their hands on me. All right, that's it. Bye.